Hey everybody, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday, January 22nd. I have some very bullish and positive news to share with you guys. Now, this is not financial or investment advice. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button. Thumbs up as well. So let's get into it. It's a lot to cover, so please bear with me, but it's all great stuff. Stay towards the end of the video. I'll try to go through each of these news items as fast as I can. Now, remember, I've always been telling you guys about, the way we should look at the market is holistically, not just prices. Price is important. We're all looking to make money, right? But we also have to understand the market principles. Where are we positioned in this young market as far as the timeline, market principles of bear and bull, the cycles that come within any market. Also, that the moves that are being made by the big money, despite the prices, is important. You have to watch not what people are saying, but what are they doing? What's the actual investments being made, the mergers, the acquisitions, all of these things, right? Because they're not just dumping money on something here that some people are saying crypto's a scam or pump and dump or it's going to die, right? Bitcoin's going to zero, whatever. There are people who are saying that, they're critics, right? And with the bear market the way it is, it's easy for those critics to pop up and say, well, yeah, crypto's dead or whatever. But once you see the moves being made by governments, by corporate giants and Wall Street giants and so forth, it tells a different story. It shows the infrastructure being built. And one such company that's doing that is Bakkt. Bakkt, as you know, will be launching a retail and institutional crypto currency trading service where you'll be able to buy, trade, store your cryptocurrency, and also in a partnership with Starbucks, be able to spend your cryptocurrencies to buy Starbucks coffee or whatever it is, right? Well, they announced today that they are hiring, and look at that, guys. Well, why would they be hiring when blood is on the street? We even hear of like mining companies having to, shut down, and this company had to lay people off. Why would Bakkt be hiring? And they tweeted multiple times about this today, showing like, hey, we're hiring. This is what we're doing. They are making acquisitions as well. They made their first acquisition just a couple weeks ago. We heard that they raised $182.5 million, right? And here's all their folks that they're hiring, guys. So once again, infrastructure. These folks are setting up their services, building out their teams, getting all the pieces in the right place, and they're gearing up and they're building the foundation for the takeoff of this new asset class of crypto. So that's important to call out because, like I said, with what's been going on with other companies who didn't manage things well, who may not have been approaching things well from this market, not thinking about the cycles of bear and bull. Now, there's also some chatter about JP Morgan could potentially use Bakkt's infrastructure as an on-ramp for its own clients. Now, this is from Abacus Journal, and as usual, they say there's sources. There's no official statement, so I want to make sure you guys are clear on that. So the headline is, JP Morgan chatter Bakkt infrastructure. JP Morgan eyes Bakkt and ICE infrastructure as easy on-ramp for crypto exposure. Now, this is not outlandish because keep in mind, as they highlighted here, Bakkt is owned by the Intercontinental Exchange, which is the owner of the New York Stock Exchange and many other different trading and asset services, right? So, of course, they're all in the same world, guys. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and so forth. These are all your Wall Street giants, right? So this is not outlandish that they could potentially use them as an on-ramp because Bakkt will provide custody service and a lot of different trading services. So Bakkt has set out to create a product that appeals to institutions in a way that other crypto exchanges and firms have yet to. Ultimately, trust. Trust in the pricing process, trust in the custody construct, trust in the warehousing facility and deliverables, and so forth and so forth. It says here, the connection that JP Morgan is making with Bakkt is relatively simple. They trust the team, they trust the systems, they trust the history of Jeff Spencer, Kelly Loeffler, and ICE. Of course, like I said, these are established institutions. ICE has been around a very long time. They're not crypto per se. They are real world stock market assets. Been around. They own the stock market, the New York stock market. I mean, come on, right? They transact billions in commodity trades on ICE systems already. So JP Morgan already works with them, right? They trust that Bakkt will be as efficient and transparent as those systems. And that narrative that Bakkt is selling as they talk to potential institutional clients and those that onboard early, Bakkt can be trusted because ICE and the New York Stock Exchange can be trusted. So it says here, let's see, JP Morgan, and more specifically Jamie Dimon, you guys know Jamie Dimon and his FUD, doesn't want any sort of negative Bitcoin headline given his level of questions surrounding the asset. As stated a couple months ago, he just doesn't want to talk about it. But that doesn't mean several teams at one of the largest banks aren't preparing to treat Bitcoin like a commodity that the CFTC has dubbed it as and traded it via Bakkt's architecture. And it says here, one JP Morgan trader took a few moments to give us a little color on how they see and talk about Bakkt. Bakkt is the only place we'd approach Bitcoin and the crypto space. Of course, it's an easy segue from the other commodities and stocks and all these things that they trade on their platform, right? To just easy hop over to Bakkt, which is owned by ICE. The on-ramp is there, guys. Any and all other setups just don't rise to the legal standard and acceptable risk for us. I don't think I even need to go further. This is all you need to know. And like I said, this is not outlandish. It makes sense. They already have a working relationship. That is with ICE, the parent company. So you can imagine even Kelly Loeffler and all the folks there are knocking on the door at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Hey guys, here's what we're offering. You can come play ball with us. You can, easily, segue into this from the other trades that you're making with crypto. So I think big things are ahead. And that's why Bakkt is pushing, making acquisitions, hiring. They raise a significant amount of money. So they're really going to be the leaders in this space as far as pushing adoption as well because of the Starbucks connection. So big things are ahead. Now, Nasdaq CEO. This is not some random Joe on the street. This is not even someone, a CEO of a crypto exchange. This is the Nasdaq. Crypto could still be a global currency of future, Nasdaq CEO. Now, her thoughts, she kind of gave both perspectives. She said it could end up going into nothing, but it could also be something really big, which is kind of like a safe messaging. But the fact that she still has a positive sentiment, she's like 50-50 maybe. She didn't give that percentage breakdown, but I'm just giving an example. Unlike, let's say, Jamie Dimon, right, who's 100% negative, she's more, I think, open, which is great. So en route to Davos, Nasdaq CEO Adena Friedman says 2019 will be a year of disruption and innovation. Cryptocurrencies could still be the global currency if the tremendous demonstration of genius and creativity finds practical utility. As we've been talking about here, guys, when I said, I gave the example of Fidelity announced they're getting in the market. Yale and Harvard and these folks said they're investing. And then TD Ameritrade with RSX, the market didn't budge, right? Even the launch of Bakkt, they didn't budge on the speculation. And I think that's where we're headed. We have to see utility. But we know there's a lot of projects, even like Ripple, I think even Ethereum and so forth are seeing some utility pick up and real world exposure. A lot of companies are looking into blockchain. So I agree. It has to go into utility, practical utility. And I think Bakkt is going to help that with the ability to use an app to spend your crypto, obviously in Starbucks, but they may expand that. They may expand to other relationships like restaurant chains, other stores. Maybe it's like, I don't know, Best Buy or something, just throwing an example out there. Friedman, like others, believes cryptocurrency space has gone through the first stage of a classic invention life cycle. This is marked by early pioneers, followed by hype, followed by proliferation of newcomers, and then a dose of reality. Now, I always say we should count ourselves lucky that we're still here because a lot of weak hands got got shook out, guys, got scared and ran away. And I think those who see the vision here of this new asset class see what the big money is doing. And patience is so important, because you can still see these facts and still not be a patient person where I need to have my money now. I need to. But if you understand investing and how even you look at guys like Warren Buffett and other investors in other markets, they played the long game, right? Where they were patient and they made money. And that's the approach I'm personally taking. But it's good to see that, the Nasdaq CEO has some good things to say about crypto. And like I said, she did give the both sides of it. Like there needs to be utility. It needs to go somewhere, or it's going to die into obscurity or whatever, right? But this is still a very bullish statement. And I think I personally think we're beyond the part the threshold of, is crypto here to stay? It is definitely here to stay. And Nasdaq will actually be doing Bitcoin futures this year. They made the official statement. So bullish statement there. Now, speaking of stock exchanges, London Stock Exchange exchanges trading tech to power new cryptocurrency exchange. And this cryptocurrency exchange is actually very similar to Bakkt. They're trying to do what Bakkt is doing. So London Stock Exchange is providing the trade matching technology for an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange in Hong Kong. Crypto is global. Man, the opportunity is big here because it's global. The LSE Group announced Tuesday that its Millennium Exchange matching engine has been chosen to power AAX, a new exchange platform being launched by Hong Kong-based fintech firm Atom Group. AAX is scheduled to be launched in the first half of this year and will be the first crypto exchange to use the matching engine product, according to LSE. According to a separate statement from Atom Group on Tuesday, the LSE Group also provides tech solutions to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and Singapore Exchange. Atom Group CEO Peter Lin said the Millennium Exchange will help AXA build a platform that ensures safe, trusted, and secure trading for both retail and institutional investors. It will also enable AAX to provide a scalable and compliant crypto trading platform. So this is big, guys. You see the expansion here, and they actually mentioned DX Exchange because you guys have seen my interview with the CEO of DX Exchange, which leverages Nasdaq technology. So now the stock exchanges are just diving in. They're powering exchanges. Some are building their own services, right? But this right here, like I said, watch what the big money's doing, and it clearly shows a big, massive interest here and in building out services, mergers, acquisitions, these type of things. So really, exciting stuff ahead, but patience is the key. Now, you guys know how I feel about Coinbase, but that doesn't mean that everything they do is bad. They are doing certain things to help progress the market. And this was reported today. Coinbase has launched a cross-border wire transfer and expanded trading and custody service for institutional customers in Asia, UK, and Europe. Very big expansion here, guys. And like I said, would they be making these type of, with the price being so bad, the market being so low? But remember, they don't have short-term vision. They have long-term. They are looking at the potential of what's coming with this new asset class. So crypto exchange Coinbase is launching cross-border wire transfers for institutional clients in Asia, the UK, and Europe. Coinbase said in its announcement Tuesday that for clients in countries where fiat payment rails aren't yet available, the firm will support inbound and outbound SWIFT transfers from non-US bank accounts. I hope they understand how long SWIFT takes for cross-border payments, and Ripple is solving that problem. But we all know the beef and the blood between Ripple and Coinbase, right? Because they could be, guess what? They could have been the US XRapid liquidity provider, and they could have used XRapid for this, and their clients would have get the money like that. But hey, it's Coinbase. What can you say, guys? But at the same time, this is big for the market. Massive expansion here. 3 major regions, or Asia, UK, and Europe. So Big time move. So Binance, we also got news today. Binance has launched an crypto OTC desk providing additional liquidity to our exchange users. This was announced by their CFO. See what's happening, guys? The big money's coming. Everybody's setting up their OTC desk and so forth, and their institutional services. Now, OTC, as you know, it's now going to be recorded on the Binance Volume Exchange, right? Or where they display that to the regular retail investors. But that's okay, because people always, they're worried about, hey, if these people are buying OTC, what does that mean? Does that mean like the price is never going to go up or whatever? No, but you have to understand where we are. Remember, we are very early, and a lot of these guys are going to buy OTC in the volume and bulk, and then what are they going to have to do to make a ROI, to make money? Remember, all these folks, Coinbase, Binance, everybody, they are businesses. At the end of the day, they got to generate revenue and make a profit, right? They have investors to answer to. Some of these folks, it's their livelihood. So what are they going to do? The folks who are buying over the counter, some may be just whales who may look to sell, later on when the price goes up. Some are institutions like your Fidelities and so forth, which will sell it, through their own setup and put commission on it. Like, just as you have stockbrokers now, you're going to have crypto brokers who are going to help rich people, right? Like, yes, Mr. Rich Person, I will put your order in for 5 million XRP or whatever it is, 100 million Bitcoin, whatever, right? Now, there's not 100 million Bitcoin, but I should say, 500,000 Bitcoin or something. But I hope you understand the white glove service. So big news. There was an interesting article here on the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq's website. Will Ripple buck the crypto drop? So essentially what this article is saying is that, a lot of cryptos have taken a hit. They highlight Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, but they're showing the potential of XRP because of the adoption it's getting with clients going live. And it seems like, just recently Ripple announced what was it? 5-6 new clients that would go live on XRapid. So they're building momentum here, and they just have this global presence. So this article explores it. I'm not going to go through everything, but remember, they have real world utility, and it's just some regulatory clarity that's holding back some of the major banks from essentially holding XRP and leveraging it, because they don't want to touch it to get in trouble. Now, there are certain corridors with certain banks and payment service providers that can leverage it there because they have regulatory clarity. For example, like in the EU, right? Or if they're in Mexico, as currently happening with Mercury FX and so forth. So this is what the article explores. Now, we also have news that R3 has agreed to a 5-year deal with ING for unlimited number of Corda enterprise licenses, will encourage adoption of Corda apps across a range of business functions. This is big. ING is huge. And why is this important? Because, as you guys know, in December, what did R3 announce? R3 launches Universal Settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda. XRP, the first settlement mechanism. Not only will XRP be leveraged in XRapid, it will also be leveraged in the Corda Settler. Big things are ahead for XRP. And as you can see, R3 has their own huge set of clients, financial institutions. I mean, ING is no joke. Those of you who know the business world and finance world, ING is big. So I'm telling you, this is the facts. It's not my feelings, and that's why I'm so bullish on XRP. It's a majority of my portfolio. I believe it will be #1 in the market once all these banks and financial institutions go live. Once we have regulatory clarity and they all go live and the volume kicks in. Patience. And finally, well, no, I shouldn't say finally. There's a bunch more stuff to cover. I told you guys it was a lot. Voyager, I told you guys about this exchange. It hasn't opened yet. They're coming soon, but it is it was founded by one of the co-founders of Uber. So they said, here's a sneak peek of XRP profile and trading in the Voyager beta app. Sign up today and so forth. I even messaged, respond to that like, hey, when are you planning on launching, right? But this is going to be one of those huge exchanges as well. So Big things coming up, guys, and looks like everyone is going through their testing, they're making their acquisitions, like I said, setting up their shop. Big things ahead. Now, the XRP private ledger. This is I've been following this closely, where people have been, you know, some are worried, some are saying this and that and whatever. At the end of the day, I brought up C3 Nick's tweet here because he does a great job just consolidating, you know, what's going on here. At the end of the day, and I looked into this, and I told you guys, I'm fully transparent that if Ripple was doing something to hurt us as investors in XRP, I would straight up tell you guys, like, hey, man, because I have XRP, I don't want to lose my money. So I have skin in the game here. I don't want to lose anything. But, you know, the great thing about Ripple, they are very transparent. And I think David Schwartz even addressed this, Ripple's CTO. But just so I make sure I cover this so you guys understand what's going on. So he tweeted, a lot of confusion with regards to the so-called private ledger comes from mixing up how Xcurrent works versus how the XRP ledger works. Example, there are temporary private ledgers between banks when using Xcurrent, but no private XRP ledger. So he said, I strongly suggest reading the product overview, a technical overview of Xcurrent, and he links to the files on Ripple's website. Also, please do your own research. I cannot stress this enough. And so personally, for my research, there's nothing to worry about here. And I'm being fully transparent. If there was, I would say, look, guys, this is not good, or, you know, I don't like this. But it is just the way it's setting up with banks. There is going to be certain private transactions, you know, maybe like on Xcurrent with the messaging system, right? However, for the XRP ledger, I don't believe so. Now, that doesn't mean, and there's one guy who did a great video on it. I think it's on, yeah, here it is. So you guys can certainly check this video out. What I'll do, I'll link to it in the description. If it would load here, but I'll link to it in the description. It's actually a pretty good video explaining the whole situation. I don't know why this is so slow, guys. I want to make sure I give credit. So this channel, Cryptocurrency Explained, where this gentleman here, I didn't catch his name, but his channel is Cryptocurrency Explained. Did a really great job just explaining you know, how it all works. That even if there doesn't affect the entire volume or things like that, there's nothing new here where it's hidden or something's hidden or this is happening. So I hope you guys understand that. You know, if this continues, I'll try to do a dedicated video on it explaining it. But from my research, my personal research, and I suggest you research as well, I do not see a problem here or any potential to cause harm to us as XRP holder as far as it would affect the price or anything like that. Because we've actually seen price surges for XRP before. So it's just a matter of that volume kicking in with banks and so forth. And keep in mind, Ripple has the XRapid exchange liquidity providers set up, right? And they're adding more and more where these financial institutions can source the liquidity from the exchanges. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I'll put a link to this video, and shout out to this guy. Actually, his name is Matt Hamilton. Excuse me. It's actually here in the video. So it's actually a great video outlining how this all works. So hope you guys understand that, and I hope you're not worried about the, you know, these things. It's kind of FUD moving around about the private ledger, and some people are taking and running with it, and, you know, coming up with this theory and that theory and all that. But I feel like anytime Ripple does something good, like the announced partnerships or whatever, another round of FUD comes around, and it seems like this is the next wave. So now, major crypto exchange takes key early step to public U.S. listing with reverse managers. So another, let me give you the details here. The path to first publicly U.S. listed crypto exchange took a step forward with the announcement of a letter of intent to merge Korean cryptocurrency exchange Bithumb with OTC listed holding company Blockchain Industries, according to a direct filing issued by Blockchain Industries. Known as a reverse merger, the deal would involve Bithumb's majority owners, soon to be named Blockchain Exchange Alliance or BXA, merging with OTC-listed blockchain industries as a single entity, emulating the path to Mike Novogratz Galaxy Digital took to list on Canada's TSX Venture Exchange, merging with holding company Bradmer Pharmaceuticals. So this is interesting, guys. Could be the first publicly listed exchange. This is a next level right here, when exchange can be listed publicly. Obviously not directly because they're merging here, but still, I mean, this is big. According to CNBC, the newly formed entity has plans to eventually uplist or move out of the OTC market and list on established, well-known exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq. BXA also aims to consolidate other exchanges over the next 24 months. Other exchanges. Big things are happening here, guys. I hope you see it, and I'm giving you the facts. I'm not making this up. This is all facts here. And a lot of investments, a lot of moving of money here, and building out of services. Finally, I hope you guys stay to the end here because it's just a lot of great news. A report by South Africa's Reserve Bank makes strides toward crypto clarity in the country. Once again, crypto is global. A working group of South African financial regulatory organizations has released a consultation paper focused on cryptocurrencies, calling for a public input to develop a cryptocurrency regulation policy for the country. What did I say at the beginning of the video? Watch what the governments are doing and watch what the big money is doing, and that will tell you what's coming. We are seeing politicians here in the United States and around the world and governments making strides to get the regulation and clarity in place. I don't think I even need to go further here, guys, just to save some time, but it's all here. I show you the sources, so you can, of course, go and read this up on your own and, digest it and, keep it in your mind, and understand that even when you see prices just go low, understand the investments being made here, and they're big moves, because they're not just from like startups. These are stock exchanges. These are companies established, been around for a very long time, some 50 years, 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, right? They've been around for a long time. They are the gold standard, the high standard in the regular stock commodities markets, right? I mean, come on. The New York Stock Exchange, the parent company, New York Stock Exchange, powering its own service. Big things are ahead, guys. Now, can anyone predict when the next bull run's going to be? No. But can we make an educated guess? Sure. I personally think we could possibly, listen to my words carefully for those of you who will come back to this video maybe and say, oh, you said the bull run's going to happen. I'm saying it could possibly. I could be wrong. But maybe, when the Token Taxonomy Act gets passed, I think that will be big. And like, let's say Bakkt gets the CFTC approval. That would be big, guys. So maybe by Q2, middle to end of Q2, maybe we see something. Maybe we don't. I'm just making an educated guess, and it could go either way, right? But just keeping in mind the things that are in play right now. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, guys, what do you think about this news? I know it's a lot. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please help share this video on my channel with your friends and family and social media so we can spread the facts, guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.